Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the place where we talk all things records. Welcome back to part 2 of my Beatles record collection. So this will be from Sgt. Pepper up to Let It Be, and there might be a few extras in there, so hopefully you enjoy this part as well. We'll start off with Sgt. Pepper. As ever, I'll start off with my modern reissue. This is the 2017 Giles Martin remix. Giles Martin, sorry. This is the remix. I actually bought it much later than when it came out, but it is of course recreated like the original sleeve. Of course, you've all probably seen the inside before, but nice and high gloss, good packages. So I'll show you what came inside there. I'll just put it back in here to protect the sleeve from any fingerprints. Hopefully that will get on there. It can be a bit tricky, these double gatefolds. So you do of course get your infamous cutouts. There was also a little booklet which I'll try and get out here, there, which tells you essentially the history of how Sgt. Pepper came about. I'm sure everyone knows. But this of course here is the actual album on nice heavyweight vinyl. Now I did buy mine a few years later, so I mean, the label might have changed, but I highly doubt it. And as you can see, like I've said in my other videos, they are trying to replicate the original label, which they've done very well on this one, actually. Hopefully you can see there. It's a bit dark, but there you are. So that's my first 2017 copy. Next up, we've got my stereo first pressing. And it's a fairly early copy as well, reading the stampers and mother numbers. It is a complete copy as well, although the disc is warped unfortunately, but I got it for fairly cheap, so that's what the front looks like, again, like any other Sgt. Pepper. Hopefully you'll be able to see here. Stereo. There's the bottom. Now I won't open this one up, but just to try and protect the spine, because these do have fragile spines, but it does have its original cutouts, as you can see. So that's nice, that was nice. And it does have its original in the sleeve as well. So I'll get the record and the sleeve out, because they are very fragile, so you have to be careful if you do happen to own some. So firstly, here's the record, which I'll try and get in the light. As you can see here, stereo. Gramophone text, Southern UK. And side 2. And I do like the stereo mix. My favourite way to listen to it is in mono, but the stereo mix does have some interesting... some of the, for example, A Day in the Life I prefer in stereo, just because it feels a bit more spacious. So that's the record itself. And here's the original flame in a sleeve that came with the first pressings. This one's actually survived pretty well. You know, it's creased and stuff, but it's had a bit of tape, but it's not actually split on each side, which is what happens usually. But the ones with my mono ones are both split, so luckily this one hasn't split yet. So next up, we've got a couple of mono copies. So first up is this one, which is these are all mono first pressings, but we've got some slight variations. This is a mono first pressing, and as shown by my labelling here, it has an extra dot in Southern UK. That's a variation you can get, but again, it's a standard. This one has a really nice spine, because a lot of the times the spines are just absolutely trashed. Hopefully that'll zoom in. It might be a bit difficult, but there we are. It's actually nice and clear. I know it's upside down, sorry, but hopefully you'll be able to see that the text is very clear. And the actual sleeve itself is in lovely condition. This is a standard sleeve. I'll put a card up for my video on how to tell how early or late your sleeve is, but this is just a standard one. As you can see up here, it does say mono, but I'll get the record out anyway. This doesn't have its in-sleeve or insert. That's how I got it fairly cheap as well. This is my playing copy really for the mono version. Hopefully no stereo, so that's what marks it as mono. And KT tax code in this one, and hopefully you can see there that it's got an extra dot in Southern UK. and hopefully you can see there as well on side 2. It doesn't have the extra dots, hopefully you can see that difference, but there's side 2 for the mono first pressing. Now there is a version which misses a day in the life, but that's quite rare, so I haven't come across any yet, and it is pretty expensive if you do happen to find one, but they are out there. So, and the gatefolds will have the flip back design, but I'll show that on a copy in a minute. So I'll get my next one, which is a mono first pressing, but it's got a slightly earlier sleeve. So again, from the front it looks the exact same, and this one has a patents pending sleeve. Oh, hopefully there we are. As you can see here, usually the standard sleeves just end at limited, but this has got patents pending. So of course, as per my other video about the Sgt. Pepper sleeve, this is just when they were, getting the design for the sleeve patented. So whilst they were waiting, they added these, but this would have been done on very early. And I think there is a version as well with patents applied for, but they seem to be very, very scarce. But even these are fairly rare. And this does have its cutouts as well. And another thing to note is that the earlier ones will be a much darker green. So if you pause the video and go back to my stereo copy, they're quite lighter. But the mono ones as well, you want a nice dark green insert. And it will say printed in England. I will get this one out. This is in fairly good condition actually. The originals will say printed in England. Hopefully you'll be able to see that there. It's a bit thin. Printed in England. The originals will say on the bottom, but reissues will have this blank. Sorry about that, folks. The writing is, there we are. The printed in England, and it will be a fairly thick, sort of medium thickness card. And again, it's the same pressing for the disc, so I won't show you that. It does also have its red and white inner, but I won't get that out just because, as I said, they can be very fragile. So now this next mono copy is a very special and rare one, as it's the infamous Sgt. Pepper 4th proof cover, which if you look up, you'll have read enough about. These were the test run of covers, because they showed this design sort of thing to the Beatles, and they were like, yeah, let's go with that one. And then they did a test run of covers just to check all the colours and everything were okay. Now, a 4th proof cover, to identify one, of course, it's fairly easy, but firstly, it will have the patents pending, because of course that was happening as they were getting it all ready. So to basically tell from the back, your 4th proof has to have a patent pending. I haven't come across any variations yet which don't have this, or a different type, So, and this one as well has, try and get it out, they can be quite tight in the sleeve, but it does have its cutouts, and of course it does also have its inner sleeve and the record, but its original red and white in the sleeve, but I've taken it out just very carefully just to show you that the inner gatefold. I won't open it up all the way just because, as I said, the spines are a bit, and this is what I mean by the flip back design. Sorry about that brightness. Hopefully this will focus in. There we are. As you can see, it says 4th proof up there. That's the main thing you need to look for, and there's some numbers up here in this corner. So that's the way to identify a 4th proof, and all 67 sort of 60s covers will have this flip back design. If it doesn't, then it's an early 70s onwards, so that's one way to know. But yeah, I would have opened that up a bit more, but as it is quite a fragile, and it's already a bit worn, so I just wanted to protect it. And I will show you the record for this one. I won't get the red and white inner out, because as I said again, they're quite fragile, but I'll get the record out to show you guys, because again, it is just a standard mono pressing disc. And I got this one for a great price as well, because it was just a lucky eBay find. And the disc plays quite well actually, so that was a bonus. Try and get that to focus in. There we are. It's a bit bright, but it is the -1 cut as well, which is pretty much what all mono copies have. Again, this does have the extra dot as well, because that seems to just be a random variation. On the stereos, it's really weird, because some early copies have it, some later ones have it, but again, KT tax code on side 2. So it's a standard mono disc. You don't get like special pre-pressings or anything like that. So I'll just put this back in its sleeve. So yeah, it's my 4th proof, which is probably one of the jewels in my collection. Very happy to get that. Now, I only have one copy of Magical Mystery Tour, which is a US 1971 Winchester pressing on the Apple label, which is an underrated album, really, because it got quite overshadowed by Pepper, but this is the American version was released as an album, and this one's a gatefold. The original will be on the Rainbow label, of course. So that's sort of the back end. It did have a booklet. Mine's come out, but I do have the booklet with it, so that's the back sort of page. The booklet would have gone in the middle, but I'll just show you the front as well. Hopefully you can see here. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly, this one. If I twist this page over, this is what happened. There we are. So that would have been the front of the booklet. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully that there says printed in USA. I will try and show that a bit better on the poster, but I say poster, it's actually a booklet, so I should get this out. Again, this would have been on the inside, but this has come out, unfortunately. It's nice and heavy duty. You can see there a picture of Ringo. You get multiple coloured prints inside. Again, I won't open it all the way just because they're quite fragile, but this is a made in US press from the early 70s, but again, it's stereo, but the last 3 tracks on side 2 are the fake stereo, which, you know, they sound okay to me, but they're not perfect. So the German pressings are the better for the proper stereo mixes, but again, I do like this copy, so I'll just try and get that in focus. There we are. Good tracks on here. I do prefer the way the American version was done with all the singles on the album, because then it just means they're all on the same disc. Although I would like to get an original EP copy of it one day, mono and stereo, but I'm yet to do that. But this side 2 on the Apple label. So it's a good copy. So those are my Beatles albums from 1970, sort of from 67. So now on to the White Album. Okay, so now on to my White Albums, which I do have a lot of copies of, as it's my second favourite Beatles album. So firstly, I've got my 2018 anniversary. This is going to be quite a bright one, so there we are. And I won't be getting everything out, of course, like with a Sgt. Pepper, because they can be fragile, but I'll show some of them. This is my 2018 remix one. It's got the cards and the black inners and the poster. Not a lot to sort of see, but it saves me getting everything out. So, and it is got the embossed name. It's good. I like the sound of these. So that's my 2018 one. Now, next one is my first original numbered copy, which is a US first pressing with all the title misprints, which I will show you because it's quite interesting. Again, this one's got a bit more dirt to it. As you can see here, my US first press is the number 132,477. Now it's got just a leading 0, so that might, you know, it's an early cover because they were done simultaneously, and it is embossed. Try and focus that in. It's a bit difficult with these albums, but there we are. Oh, sorry about that darkness. And it is stamped stereo, of course, because it was only released in stereo in the US. I'll get the records out. It doesn't have the poster or anything like that, but it was worth the price for the side 1. And this Bungalow Bill is the first misprint, sorry. And there's no hyphens in between Obla D, Obla Da. That's another one. I don't think there's any more on side 2. The Rocky Raccoon misprint is sometimes counted, but that's on pretty much all the presses of the US one. So that's, you know, those are all the ones on that first disc. So here is disc 2. So not many I don't think there is any on this side, but again, that's what a first press side 3 looks like. Now the next few are on this side actually. So you've got Revolution number 1 instead of just Revolution 1. You've got Revolution number 9 instead of just Revolution 9, and good night is one word instead of being spaced out. So it's quite interesting, and you can get, of course, crossover pressings with different labels on each sort of thing, but for the most part, first presses are going to look like that. And they will have the posters and stuff, and the American ones didn't come with the black inners, but that's what they'll look like. They'll come with just plain white inners. So next we have my first UK stereo pressing. Oh well, it's just kind of technically, so it's a first pressing, but it's just slightly later copy, because one of the runouts is the -2 cut, but this one's number 399,309, and of course, as you can see, it's had a bit of damage. I will get this one out to open and show you. And it does have the poster, but it's been taped up and has seen better days. But I'll try and show you that as well. It's a top loader, as all original UK ones were, and it is of course embossed, and it has got stamped stereo. Hopefully you can see that there. So it is stamped stereo, and this one's a bit blurry, so I won't be able to show that too clearly, but these do open up. And these are the flip backs, of course. It's sorry about that brightness, it's just I can't really help it with the, because it's a white cover. And the spine on this one's pretty good, it's just folded over a bit. So again, there is the catalogue numbers there. You probably won't be able to see that, but and it is on the Apple label. I'll get one disc out just to show you. And this one's pretty scratched up, so I got it quite cheap. So here's disc 1. It's a standard presser really. This one is -1 on this side. So here's side 2, which is again -1. It's on side 3, the -2 cut. But side 4 is a -1, so it is technically still a first pressing, just slightly later copy. Again. And again, standard spelling of raccoon. There is a UK misprint with Rocky Raccoon, and I do have one. And it's quite a rare misprint in the UK, but I'll show you that's on slightly later, so that will be coming up. But again, that's just what the discs mainly look like for this copy. And most white albums you'll see will be all sort of scratched up and stuff, so it's not uncommon to find them in this condition, but that's why the really good condition ones go for so much money, is they are becoming scarcer and scarcer every day. So if I just get my next copy out, which is again a stereo first pressing, and I am awaiting some more protective sleeves. This one doesn't have one yet, but this is again an embossed cover, top loader. And this one does only have one disc, so that's again how I got them so cheaply. I have the only maximum amount I've spent on a white album is £50, which I don't know what that would be in dollars, but this one is again quite a low number, so fairly low number. It's 105,250, and this is actually a mono sleeve, but the record stereo, so I imagine it's been swapped out. Again, I won't open these just to try and protect these spines, and this one has a very thin spine. I'll try and focus it in. Sorry about the glare as well. But these do seem to have quite thin spines, this early one. This record is quite interesting actually, because it's got the XP tax code, which I will try and show you, and its original black inner. These are very fragile, so I won't be able to get this one out unfortunately, but I probably will on one of the other copies. Again, this one's scratched up, so, but here's side 1 just to show you. Again, a -1 cut. And it has an EMI recording, so an EMI recording not on the label is quite a lot harder to find with the stereo versions, but I do have a copy. So here you can see that it's got the XP tax code, which there is debate, but some people say it was made for export, some people say it's just something to do with it not needing to have a tax code. So I did learn that from a channel called Andy Hall, so hopefully you guys check him out. It's really hard to focus in, but I'm sure you can see it just there if you want to pause the video. And again, proper spelling of raccoon on this one, but this was the only disc that actually came with this one, so just bear with me a minute as I put it back to avoid damaging it further. Because you do have to be fragile with these white albums, because they're not only are the inner sleeves, you know, really fragile, but now on to my next copy, which is a stereo again. All of mine White Album, UK White Albums, are first pressings. This is my complete copy, which I made up. I had to buy some of the inserts separately, so I will show you some of them. But again, this is an original first pressing, embossed. Oh, let me focus in. There we are, it's embossed. This one's number 418,249. That is actually a 9, but again, some of these presses can sort of, the numbers get a bit sort of moved over, but this one does have some tape on it, but and it is stamped stereo up in this corner. This does have everything with it apart from the spacer, but it is a complete copy. It's got all the black inners, and I won't get the black inners out, but I will just show you one of the cards, because these are the original cards, which I had to buy separately, but it's John there. And the originals will be blank on the back with no writing. The later reissues have like Apple Corps Limited and stuff. These have a nice gloss to them, not a matte gloss, there's high shine. So that's one of the cards. Oh, this does have its poster as well, which I won't get out. I forgot to show you, but I will get that other poster out in a minute. And I will show you one of the records, just because this is the one with the EMI recording misprint not on it. So we'll just show you that now. And on stereo, to have all four sides with not an EMI recording is fairly scarce, so I think. Not completely rare, but you know, we'll just get that shine away there. As you can see, it's missing the credit there, which makes this a fairly early copy, although there are variations which have later copies without the EMI recording. So side 2, I will just focus that in. Oh, sorry about this. Just some of the labels are a bit reflective. Again, not on side 2. These are all -1 cuts, by the way. Again, proper spelling of raccoon. And if it's got sold in the UK, it's a first pressing. There will be it's just determines how early or late your pressing is with the cuts and stuff. So that's the disc, which I'll now put away. And I'll show you the poster from the other copy. So just bear with me, by the way, when I pause, because I'm getting the records back in their sleeves. I'll show you the poster from the other copy. Just as I don't really want to have to get this one out and follow, because it's in pretty nice condition, so hopefully you'll understand that. But I'll take this sleeve away as well. So here's my next copy. Now this is the one which has the Rocky Raccoon misprint. Oh no, sorry, let me picked up one of the earlier ones. So here we are. Again, this was just off eBay in a lot, but this one's a higher number. Again, the first pressing, embossed, number 536,185. Again, this one has a very thin spine, so it's a bit hard to focus in, but as you can see there, if you see it in real life, it's actually, try and hold this and focus it in, but it is difficult, but hopefully you can see there, it's got quite a thin spine. This one is of course stamped stereo. The stamping for the stereo seems to vary wildly, but this does, so it has one of the original black inners and the poster, but unfortunately not the print. But I will show you the Rocky Raccoon misprint, because as I said earlier, on the UK version it's quite rare. But and again, this is all -1 cuts for this copy. This one's in pretty nice condition as well for a white album. It does have some of the crackles and pops, but overall not bad. Oh, sorry again, it's just these labels are quite reflective, so here's side 1. Now here's side 2 with the misprint. And this seems to vary, because the lowest number I've seen this with is like 300,000, and the highest is like 590,000 or something. But as you can see there, Rocky Raccoon is only spelt with 1 C, on the word raccoon that is. That's it was a good one to get, and I got it just because the pictures were slightly blurry, but I could just make it out. The person said they weren't an expert, so I put my bid in and won it. And I did get 2 other albums. I got Rubber Soul and one of those copies of Beatles for sale with it, so it was a good lot. And it plays pretty well, for a white album at least. So yeah, that's the main attraction of this copy. And I won't show, as I said, I'll show the poster from the other one, just because these copies can be quite fragile. So again, I'll just put this away and then show you my next copy. I just get it here. This is my mono first pressing. Now the monos are slightly scarcer, but again not impossible to find. This was my first mono copy I have, or I owned, sorry, again embossed. Number, if that focuses in, sorry about this, 155,619, again with the blank back. So it is a mono sleeve. This one has both its original inners, which I'll get one of them out. There's no particular rare misprints to this, it's a standard mono copy. So hopefully I'll be able to get this out. And you do have to be careful because you don't want to avoid splitting anything, but the original inners will have nothing on this side but an opening on this side. And most of the time they're like that, all torn, but as you can see there, it's mono with the PMC code. This one's been played quite a bit. It still sounds fairly good, but it's got all the usual pops and stuff. Again, this has an EMI recording, so it's slightly later, but all the dead wax is -1 cut, so it's still an early copy technically. And then again, no misprints on this one, but it's just a standard mono copy. Now the next one is the jewel in my White Album collection, as it's my lowest number, and I will keep this one in its plastic sleeve just because it is the most worn and fragile of my sleeves. This is a first mono pressing embossed, but it's number 4,444, so I was very happy to get this one. Again, this was a very lucky eBay thing, because what the person had done was accidentally list it under CDs, so of course it didn't come up when people would have searched for it, so I was the only bidder, but I guess it was just luck. And it is just a mono sleeve again, no stereo, which of course, being such a low number, it is mono. I would get the records out, but as you can see, this spine has seen much better days, so it's probably not. And it is the one with which there's no EMI recording on any of the labels, so it is the earliest label variation, which makes sense. So those are my White Albums. I will again try and just show you them, but I'll get it out of the sleeve just a tad, because that number is, so again it's 4,444, and it's the Fab 4, which someone pointed out to me and I didn't realise, but this is such a nice number to have, so I was well chuffed with this. So those are my White Albums. As you can see, I do love this album. And next up we'll have Abbey Road and Let It Be. Okay, so now on to Abbey Road and Let It Be. First off, of course, I've got my anniversary edition, which I did buy when it came out, because by then I was aware of these anniversary releases. Again, they've tried to recreate the original cover. And of course I'll get onto the misaligned apple in a minute. But these are really well done, these packages. So this comes with a recreation of the original black inners, which of course they reused on Yellow Submarine and of course Abbey Road. I do not yet have a copy of Yellow Submarine. I'm watching a couple at the moment, but once I do have one I'll do a video on it, but unfortunately I can't show it now because I don't have one. But again, lovely heavyweight vinyl. I do like the 29 remix. There are aspects of the original I like again, but again, it's a bit like the White Album. I would probably mix and match some of the mixes, but again, of course it does look quite a bit different, but they have tried to recreate the label, which I'll try and show there. It's very nice, this copy. Again, it plays super cleanly, so that's what's nice about it. Of course, because it's brand new, basically. On to my first copy of first pressing, which I'll show you now, just getting it out of my stack. Well, I say stack, my little ordering I've got here. So, again, here's the cover. It's just got the standard cover, not the misaligned one, but again, it's in pretty good condition. A couple of creases, and it has a thin spine. You can get a couple of variations, but this one's a thin one. The earlier one seems to have the thinner one for some reason. Again, this focusing might be a bit hard just because the text's quite small, but here's the back. I have kept these in sleeves just because I don't really want to get my fingerprints all on them. You can see there, it's a much thinner cover than that reissue. They always seem to make the reissue ones quite big. This has a standard inner sleeve with the EMI patents and all of that. And this is the first pressing label without Her Majesty. As you can see here, it's nice and dark green. which this will focus in a minute. There we are. And again, this is the first pressing matrices, -2 on side 1 and -1 on side 2, which I will try and show you in a minute. And again, this one's scratched up a bit, but -1 there. See, it doesn't credit Her Majesty down here, so that's what marks it out as a first press. And like a lot of people have said, you'll see a lot more without Her Majesty. So with Her Majesty, slightly scarcer, but this is the first pressing, so this is generally the one people want. So it's very nice to own this. This was my first original copy as well. So, and this is my misaligned cover, which I have done a video on, but I'll do it now just for the sake of comparison. Now this one did not come with a disc, unfortunately, so I've had to put a spare white album disc in there just to keep the cover in shape. It did come with its original plain inner, but this one does have the misaligned. As you can see, it's shifted over. Now, as I explained in my other video, it's the actual image that's been sort of zoomed out, not just the apple. A lot of people think it's just the apple, but as you can see here, the space between the A and the edge is sort of shortened, so they've zoomed it out. And like I said, on the front, you can tell by the space in between the building, and that you'll only see this small square there of the crossing in between John. And so that's my misaligned cover. That's all I can really show you for that. But I do have one copy of Let It Be, which is a third pressing stereo. Here. Sounds great, this one, because it's -3U, -3U. So it's sort of it is a third pressing, sorry. That's what makes it a third pressing. Pretty nice condition overall. Bit of creasing, but again, original inner sleeve. EMI inner sleeve. It's on the apple, and a way to tell with Let It Be is the sort of brightness of the apple. And this one's a very light apple, as you can hopefully see in a minute. It's quite a light apple. The earlier ones will be a darker green. Again, sorry about this focus, but these labels are quite reflective. So side 1, side 2. Hopefully you'll be able to see that there. There we are. And I'll try and show the matrices. There's 3U and 3U. Hopefully that'll focus there. It's a bit hard because the dead wax is quite small, so there. 3U. That's my copy of Let It Be, and that's the second part of my Beatles vinyl collection. I will be doing a video on my sort of EPs and singles and sort of like the Hollywood Bowl album, so the sort of other albums, compilations, in another video, so please stay tuned for that, and hopefully you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching. Hi everyone, sorry I just forgot there that I was talked about showing the poster and then I forgot to record it, so I'll just put it in now. Again, they're quite thin paper. This one's seen better days, but it is an original, so that's why I bought it. They're quite frail, as you can see, but I won't open it up the whole way, but there is a way to tell if yours is an original. And I've got to find the place where that is, but it's on the side with the lyrics, which I'll show you now, if I can, without breaking it. So it's on the side of the lyrics, which I'll just get open here. Sorry, that's the side with the picture. It's on this side, I believe. I'll just open this up. There we are. As you can see, they're quite frail, but hopefully you can see. I'll have to take the camera off here. Hopefully you can see down here. Focus it in if it's possible. You can see that is what the writing on an original will look like. It will say Northern Songs and printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse. So, and it will have this little credit up here. Later issues have Sony ATV credits. So this is what a first issue will look like. So if I just pop the... And I also forgot to mention I do have another Sgt. Pepper on my wall here. But the reason it's on my wall is because it's completely trash, so I bought it as a decoration. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.